Hello students, good morning. How are you all? Hope all are doing well and doing good by God's grace students. And how about your parents, all your sisters, brothers, grandparents? Okay, convey my greetings to all of them students. So this is the third class of this academic year students, and the last two classes what we have learned you must be knowing very well because with so much of enthusiasm you have listened to those classes, two classes students. So we started with dilute solutions and colligative properties, and in the last class I taught you the first colligative property, that is lowering of vapor pressure, and also we have learned how to determine molecular weight of a non-volatile solute from Raoult's law. Okay students, you remember, right? Now, what did I tell you that I teach today, that is in this class? Do you remember students? Anybody there with the answer? So within 5 seconds, please write the answer in the comment section. What is the topic that I promised you that I will teach today in this class? Written? Exactly students, the right answer. So you are concentrating. I'm so happy for that, and I'm so happy for you students. All my thumbs up and all my love for you. Okay, so today's topic is experimental determination of lowering of vapor pressure by, what is the name of the method? Do you remember students? That is Ostwald-Walker's method. What is it students? Ostwald-Walker's method. Okay, so here we go students with the topic of today's class. So kindly put the side heading experimental determination of lowering of vapor pressure by Ostwald-Walker's method. Put the side heading students. Please write down experimental determination of lowering of vapor pressure by Ostwald-Walker's method. Spelling Ostwald-Walker method. Okay, and also please put a star mark because this is also one of the important questions from this chapter. Okay students, written the side heading? Very good. Are you ready with a pencil, scale and eraser? So this is the diagrammatic setup of Ostwald-Walker's method students. Okay, so don't try to draw it so perfect because we don't have that much of time. So draw a rough diagram just within 5 minutes students. I want to give you only 5 minutes. So complete the diagram so that we can learn what is this experimental determination by Ostwald-Walker's method. So here your time starts now. Are you able to draw students? So draw it carefully and clearly using all your talents. Okay, students. Hope we are done with the diagram. You must be thinking, ma'am has given 5 minutes, but after 1 minute she is asking, hope you are done. You are quite talented and more artistic than me. So, I think I can start the explanation, students. Okay? Some students must be, ma'am, please. Fine? Okay, students. The class shouldn't be boring, right? So, here you can see the apparatus consists of two bulbs, students. One is bulb A, the other one is bulb B. Okay? So, we say that the apparatus or the setup consists of two sets of bulbs, and Ostwald and Walker named the bulbs as A and B. Okay? And at the end of the setup, we find calcium chloride or CaCl2 tubes. Okay, students? Right? Now, in bulb A, solution, that is dilute solution, is taken consisting of a non-volatile solute. Next, bulb B, solvent is taken, students, pure solvent. Okay, write down here, in bulb A, dilute solution consisting of a non-volatile solute, and bulb B, a pure solvent is taken. And at the end, this is calcium chloride, students. Okay, and note down or write here, dry air. The air is completely dry. What is the meaning of dry air, students? What's the meaning of dry air? That means it's not wet. Very good. It is completely free of moisture. Okay. So here a stream of dry air now is allowed to pass into the set of two bulbs, students. Okay. And one more important point to remember till the end of this class. Okay. So I just told you that this apparatus consists of two bulbs. One A in which solution and the other one B in which solvent is being taken. And at the end there are calcium chloride tubes. Now students, we know the weight of all these bulbs. What is it, students? We know the weight. That means these are previously weighed before starting the experiment. Okay? Remember this point. The bulbs, that means bulb A, bulb B, and also the CaCl2 tubes are being weighed. We know the weight of these bulbs. Basing on this, I will be asking questions at the end of the class, which is more important to learn about this method. Okay, students? Right. And now, and also you should note down one point, that the solution and solvent are being heated, students. Okay, so the two set of bulbs are on heating. That means they are being subjected to heating. Some heat is given to solution, some heat is given to solvent. Simply, if the apparatus is here, if the solution is there, if the solvent is there, we cannot do the experiment. Okay, so we should provide some temperature, that is by heating solution and solvent, students. Will you remember these 2 points? What are the 2 points? That is, these are previously weighed. That means before starting the experiment and before filling up with solution and solvent and also calcium chloride, the bulbs and the tubes are being weighed. And solution is subjected to heating, solvent is also subjected to heating. Kindly remember these 2 points. Hope I am clear, students? Right. Okay, so what did I tell you? The air which is completely dry, that is, which is free from moisture. Now, a stream of this dry air is allowed to pass into these 2 bulbs, students. First, which bulb is arranged in the apparatus, in the setup? Bulb A, right? In which solution is taken. Okay, Now, so dry air is first entering into this bulb in which there is dilute solution. Students, we have already learned that when this solution is being heated, slowly what happens? It gets converted into vapor. That means vapors start coming out from the solution in bulb A. Okay, so now dry air is coming inside. So what will it do, this dry air? This dry air, what it does, students, it takes up the vapors coming out from the solution in the bulb A. Okay, so carefully listen each and every word, students. Solution is being heated, vapors are coming out, dry air is coming inside. So easily what it will do, this dry air absorbs the vapors coming out from the solution. Tell me, students, this is a dilute solution consisting of a non-volatile solute. Non-volatile solute means which doesn't evaporate. So vapors are coming from the solvent present in dilute solution, not the solute. Solute is not at all responsible for the vapors of dilute solution, students. Kindly please remember that point. Okay? So, the vapors coming out from the solution and the vapors are coming from solvent which is present in solution, students. Okay? So, those vapors are taken up or absorbed by the dry air. Clear this point? Now my question is, how much solvent vapors are taken up by this dry air? How will we know that amount of solvent vapors, students? How to know? So, we can know or we can calculate the amount of solvent vapors taken up by dry air from solution or from bulb A is proportional to vapor pressure of solution, students. Okay? So, how did we denote vapor pressure of dilute solution, students? By PS. Okay. So, the amount of solvent vapors taken up by the air from bulb A, that is from dilute solution, is equal to or is proportional to the vapor pressure of solution, which we call it as PS. Clear, students? So, write down that point. The amount of solvent vapors taken up by the dry air from bulb A is proportional to vapor pressure of the solution in the brackets PS. Have you written, students? Take a few seconds of time and write down quickly. The amount of solvent taken up by the dry air from bulb A is proportional to PS. Okay. Now, so from here, the dry air, from here, see, look at here, there is a pipe over here, connected pipe. It is entering into bulb B. It is not coming alone, students. Dry air with the solvent vapors taken up from bulb A, it is coming into bulb B. Okay, so it's not coming alone, dry air. Again, it is not leaving the solvent vapors back in bulb A. Along with the vapors taken up, it is entering into bulb B. What is present in bulb B, students? What is taken up in bulb B? Solvent, that is pure solvent is taken in bulb B. Okay, and kindly remember, now this solvent is also being heated. Which means vapors are coming out from the solvent also. In which bulb? In bulb B. Okay. So right now the dry air. Now it is not dry air. It is coming with the few solvent vapors from bulb A into bulb B. Okay, students. Right now the air, what it does? It absorbs the solvent vapors coming from B. One small question, students. Do you remember the vapor pressure of solvent and vapor pressure of solution? Which one is greater? From the first class I have been telling you this point. Which one is greater, students? Vapor pressure of solvent or vapor pressure of solution? Vapor pressure of solvent. Very good. Okay. So how do we denote vapor pressure of solvent? P naught. Exactly. Right answer. Okay. Now my question is, how much solvent vapors or what is the amount of solvent vapors taken up by the air from bulb B, students? Don't sleep, students. Please be alert in the class, okay? Or else you will not follow the points of this method. So someone must be lying down in the sofa. Kindly don't sleep, okay? Because this is very important question, students, okay? So now the amount of solvent vapors taken up by the air from bulb B. How will we know? Someone must be answering. It is proportional to vapor pressure of solvent. Right? Am I right? But it is not the correct answer. We cannot say directly it is directly proportional to vapor pressure of solvent. Why? Because it is coming with the solvent vapors taken from bulb A. We cannot say directly as we said here. Okay, students. So now, how will we know? We will know the amount of solvent taken up by the air from bulb B is proportional to, I am writing here, students, P naught minus Ps. Okay, so this should be subtracted from vapor pressure of solvent. So write down that sentence, students. Please write down. The amount of solvent vapors taken up by the air from bulb B is proportional to difference between vapor pressure of solvent and vapor pressure of solution. Vapor pressure of solvent and vapor pressure of solution. In the brackets, mention it as P naught minus Ps. Okay, students? Am I clear these 2 points? Okay? Fine? Okay, students? So, you understood these 2 points about bulb A and bulb B. Okay? Now, so I have put all the arrows to understand clearly, students. So from bulb B, it is entering into the calcium chloride tubes. Okay. Now when the air is coming out from B, its stomach is completely loaded with the solvent vapors taken up from the 2 bulbs A and B. Okay. So I told you in the beginning, what did I tell you, students? 2 points to remember. The first point, what did I tell you? That the bulbs are weighed before starting the experiment. So now we know the weight of the bulbs. Okay, now the experiment is started. So half the experiment is done. You understood what happened in bulb A and what happened in bulb B. Now the air is coming out from bulb B completely saturated with the solvent vapors. Now what happens to the weight of bulbs A and B, students? So before the class in the morning, Mama must have served you a very good breakfast. Some must have taken chapatis with a nice curry. Some must have taken bread omelette. Some must have even taken 1 glass full of milk with 3 to 4 teaspoons of boost or Complan, right? Am I right, students? Very good. And you should take the food like that only, students. Don't skip your breakfast. Be strong and be healthy. Okay? Now, so after 1 or 2 classes at 12 p.m., you will go to Mama. She will be cooking something with nice aroma coming out from the kitchen. We will go to her and tell, Mama, I am too tired today. I have heard so much of explanation from chemistry teacher or someone else. Okay, as if you taught and you are tired. Okay, what will you tell your mom? You will say that, Mama, मुझे भूख लग रही है, Mama, खाना दो ना जल्दी. Like that you will ask your mom, na? Right? So, my question or my point in telling you this example is, morning when we have taken the stomach full of breakfast, few inches our stomach must have come forward, right? And at 12 p.m., when the stomach is totally empty, if we check the weight in the morning and at 12 p.m., some at least we must have lost. I don't say grams or kgs, kilograms. Okay, some very minute at least we must have lost. Okay, so similar is the example here we can relate to this experiment. Previously these bulbs before heating they are full with the solution and solvent. Their weight is suppose you let us assume 10 grams. Now we started heating and the dry air came inside and it has absorbed the vapors. That means the liquid is changed into vapor and those vapors are taken up by the air. Now it is coming out from bulb B completely loaded with the solvent vapors. So obviously the weight of bulbs A and B is lost. There is loss in weight of A and B. Okay students, so now how will we know the total amount of the solvent vapors taken up by the air from bulbs A and B? It can be calculated from loss in weight of bulbs A and B. So how much they have lost their weight, that much amount of solvent vapors must be taken up by the air. Okay students? Clear this point? How much weight bulbs A and B they must have lost. That much amount of solvent vapors are taken up by the air. Okay. So we can relate and calculate like this. Till here clear? Am I right? Now from here students, the air with the solvent vapors, it is made to pass or enter into calcium chloride tubes. What is the purpose of calcium chloride students? Do you know? It is the absorbent of moisture or it can absorb the vapors. Okay. So when the air with the solvent vapors, when it is entering into the calcium chloride tubes, calcium chloride what it does, it absorbs all the moisture from the air. That means it takes up all the solvent vapors taken up by the air. Okay, and here from here the dry air, you can write here students, dry air comes out from this pipe. Okay, now my question is, what happens to the weight of the calcium chloride tubes? Very good, there will be a gain in the weight of the calcium chloride tubes. Okay. So there is another way of calculating or knowing the total amount of the solvent vapors taken up by the air. What is that other option students? Here we can calculate from loss in weight of A and B. From these tubes also we can calculate. How? How? If you know the answer, please kindly write it down in the comment section. There is another option to know the total amount of the solvent vapors taken up by the air from calcium chloride tube students. How? Anybody? Anybody? Okay. So, we can calculate from the gain in weight of calcium chloride tubes. Okay students, hope I made the concept clear to you. Okay. So, understood, in the setup there are two bulbs A and B. Calcium chloride tubes, in this solution is taken, in this solvent is taken. Okay, and a dry air, a stream of dry air or a current of dry air is made to pass into these bulbs and we have seen what the air has done. Okay, so now what we shall do is, this is all about the experiment. Now we will try to know how lowering of vapor pressure is being determined with the help of this experiment. That means, as it is a physical chemistry class, we will put it down all what we have learned in the form of statements. Okay, right? Okay students, so write down the first statement. loss in weight of bulb A, denote it with W1. Okay, loss in weight of bulb A denoted by W1. This will be proportional to PS. Okay, loss in weight of bulb A is proportional to PS. What is PS, students? Vapor pressure of dilute solution. Okay, similarly, loss in weight of bulb B, denote it with W2. Loss in weight of bulb B, denote it with W2. So this is proportional to, we have seen that, difference between vapor pressure of solvent and vapor pressure of solution, that is P0 minus PS. Written, students? Okay, now next, loss in weight of bulbs A and B. Loss in weight of bulbs A and B. In the brackets, you write down W1 plus W2 proportional to. You tell me what is the answer for this. I don't know. Loss in weight of bulb A, PS. Loss in weight of bulb B, P0 minus PS. So the first one, W1. Second one, W2. Third one, loss in weight of bulbs both A and B, W1 plus W2 proportional to. What is the answer? W1 PS, W2 is P0 minus PS. What is it? Did you get the answer? Okay. PS plus P0 minus PS. PS minus PS gets cancelled. What remains? P0. Very good. Okay. So this is the way we write the statements, what we have learned from the experiment, students. Okay. Loss in weight of bulb A. That is the amount of solvent vapors taken up by the air proportional to PS. Loss in weight of bulb B, that is the amount of solvent vapors taken up from bulb B, P0 minus PS. Total if we calculate, we get P0. Okay. Now, another question for you. What is what is relative lowering of vapor pressure, students? What is that expression? Or what is lowering of vapor pressure? Delta P by P0 or P0 minus PS by P0. Okay. So write it down, students. Therefore P0 minus PS by P0 is equal to. So what is our main aim today? To determine lowering of vapor pressure from Ostwald-Walker's method. Lowering of vapor pressure, what is it? It's nothing but delta P by P0 or P0 minus PS by P0. Okay. So here P0 minus PS is nothing but loss in weight of bulb B divided by, what is P0? Loss in weight of bulbs A and B, which is equal to. So loss in weight of bulb B proportional to P0 minus PS divided by loss in weight of bulbs A and B, P0. So weights we denoted with W2 by W1 plus W2. Okay, students. So below write down finally P0 minus PS by P0 is equal to W2 by W1 plus W2. Put it in a box, students. Okay. So with this, this formula we use to calculate, or in the numericals we use this formula, students. Okay, so after this topic we will be doing the numericals. If time permits, today itself we will do, or in the next class we will be doing. Okay, so this is the formula which we use for the numericals based on lowering of vapor pressure. Okay students, fine. So this is from loss in weight of bulbs A and B. Similarly, I told you gain in weight of calcium chloride tubes. Okay, so gain in weight of calcium chloride tubes can be known or can be calculated from loss in weight of bulbs A and B. Please, after this, write down that statement, students. Please write down, complete it till here. Ready? Write down here. Gain in weight of CaCl2 tubes. CaCl2 tubes can be calculated or can be known from loss in weight of bulbs A and B. Bulbs A and B. Okay. So that also we will write like this, students. Below write down. Below that statement write down, students. Therefore, loss in weight of bulb B by gain in weight of CaCl2 tubes. Write down, loss in weight of bulb B by gain in weight of CaCl2 tubes, which is equal to W2. This we will denote it with W3. Okay, so W3 we can get it from loss in weight of bulbs A and B. So you can write it as W2 by W1 plus W2. Okay, so in the problems we can be given loss in weight of bulbs A and B or gain in weight of CaCl2 tubes. So anyway, we can calculate relative lowering of vapor pressure from Ostwald-Walker's method. Okay students, so this is all about experimental determination of lowering of vapor pressure from Ostwald-Walker's method. Okay, so a quick recollection of this method once again. If any one of you missed any point anywhere, please, while I am repeating, kindly fill those blanks or follow clearly once again. Okay. Okay students, so once again the diagram in front of you. This is the Ostwald-Walker's method, and quick revision of this, students. So please keep your book aside. Those who have written completely, those who have missed some points, please try to fill those blanks. Okay, so the apparatus consists of two sets of bulbs named A and B, and at the end of the apparatus we have calcium chloride tubes. Okay, and in bulb A, dilute solution containing non-volatile solute is being taken, and in bulb B, pure solvent is taken. Okay, and you also remember one point, that before the experiment, the calcium chloride tubes and these two bulbs, they are weighed. That means we know the weight of these bulbs and also the tubes. Okay, and now, so to start the experiment, students, these two bulbs are now subjected to heating. That means we heat solution and also the solvent. Okay, so to start with, a current of dry air. First sentence, students, a current or a stream of dry air, brackets write down, completely free of moisture, is made to pass into bulb A consisting of solution. Shall I repeat, students? A stream of dry air free of moisture is made to pass into bulb A containing solution. Okay. Now, this dry air which enters into this bulb, it takes up or it absorbs the solvent vapors coming out from bulb A. The amount of solvent vapors taken up from bulb A by the air is proportional to vapor pressure of solution. Once again, the amount of solvent vapors taken up from bulb A by the air is proportional to vapor pressure of the dilute solution. In the brackets, write it down as PS. Okay, second point. Next, third point. From bulb A, the air enters into bulb B consisting of pure solvent. Okay, that's the third point, students. From bulb A, air enters into bulb B consisting of the solvent. Okay, and from bulb B also, the air takes up the solvent vapors coming up. Fourth point, students. From bulb B, air takes up the solvent vapors coming up. For next point, the amount of solvent vapors taken up by the air from bulb B. Again, the amount of solvent vapors taken up by the air from bulb B is proportional to the difference between vapor pressure of solvent and vapor pressure of solution. Okay, in the brackets P0 minus PS. Okay, students. Now, next point. The air coming out from bulb B is saturated with the solvent vapors. Is saturated, that means it is completely loaded with, filled with, saturated with the solvent vapors taken up from bulbs A and B. The air coming out from bulb B is saturated with the solvent vapors taken up from bulbs A and B. Okay. Now, the next point, students, below write down. The total amount of the solvent, total amount of the solvent vapors taken up by the air can be calculated from loss in weight of LOSS, from loss in weight of bulbs A and B. Bulbs A and B. Full stop. Next point. So, from bulb B, next point write down. From bulb B, the air enters into CaCl2 tubes. CaCl2 tubes where the solvent vapors are ARER, students, absorbed by CaCl2, that is calcium chloride. Calcium chloride. Full stop. Hence there will be a gain in CaCl2 tubes. Hence there will be a gain in CaCl2 tubes. Full stop. Next point. The total amount of solvent taken up by the air can also be calculated from gain in CaCl2 tubes. From gain in CaCl2 tubes. Okay. Below write down, students. Below. Loss in weight of LOSS. Loss in weight of bulb A. Brackets W1 proportional to PS. Below. Loss in weight of bulb B. Loss in weight of bulb B. Brackets W2 proportional to P0 minus PS. below. Loss in weight of bulbs A and B, brackets W1 plus W2 proportional to P0. Okay, below write down. Hence, P0 minus Ps by P0 is equal to loss in weight of bulb B by loss in weight of bulbs A and B, which is equal to W2 by W1 plus W2. Okay, so write it down, students. Put it in a box. P0 minus Ps by P0 is equal to W2 by W1 plus W2, which we use for numericals. Okay, similarly below write down, gain in weight of calcium chloride tubes can be known from loss in weight of bulbs A and B. Therefore, below write down, loss in weight of bulb B divided by gain in weight of CaCl2 tubes is equal to W2 by W3, which is equal to W2 by W1 plus W2. Okay, happy students? I hope all of you understood this answer. Okay, so please tomorrow or day after tomorrow once go through this answer, students, so that you will remember the whole academic year. Okay, so we will meet in the next class. Take care, stay home and stay strong, stay healthy, students. Bye-bye.